Excerpted comments made by Reza Pahlavi of Iran to a group of prominent American business leaders in New York City. This is a continuation of Reza Pahlavi's engagements internationally with governmental and business leaders, journalists, and others to amplify the voice of the Iranian people in their evergreen quest for human rights and dignity. Since the election, the People's Movement, today dubbed as the Green Movement, has been embraced by Iranians of all walks of life and political persuasions. Its nature is pluralistic. It defines itself as a movement which is not just advocating the merits of freedom, but also as a movement which is willing to pay the price for freedom. As such, in the spirit of pluralism and democracy, it values the importance of defending everyone's rights to their opinions. Despite the Islamic Republic's brutal forces of oppression, the People's Opposition Movement is fearlessly pushing forward, ever thriving against incomprehensible odds. It has proven to be a most formidable pressure point on the regime. Looking at the situation from the outside, the failed nuclear negotiations of the last several months have reinforced international tensions and frustrations. We have now seen the hopeful and idealistic policies of engagement fall short. By refusing to agree to the IAEA's recent proposal, the regime has once more defied international pressure. Abraham Lincoln once said, "It is true that you may fool all the people some of the time. You can even fool some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all of the people all the time." I am of the view that the United States and the international community cannot afford to be fooled any longer. Neither can the Iranian people afford to continue to fall victim to the cunning ways of the clerical regime. In the big picture, over the years, every time the regime has been really pressured, both from inside and outside, it has backed off from its virulent disposition. However, as soon as such pressures have subsided, it has regrouped into its natural form of being antagonistic to the free world, wanting to continue on its inherent mission of exporting a radical ideology around the planet. This is why I keep asking this question from policymakers here, in Europe, and elsewhere: why aren't you utilizing the people's force of leverage to achieve your goals without betraying our national cause for freedom? Because in reality, so far you have played into the hands of this regime without obtaining any results, and you have done so to the detriment of my compatriots. The United States and its democratic allies should support the Iranian people in their struggle for democracy, for it will empower their movement and hasten the clerical regime's demise. And in so doing, the West will find its ultimate solution to not only nuclear proliferation, but to all the other ailments born from and associated with this radical, terrorist-sponsoring regime, democracy itself. It is only under democratic Iran that the international community will find a trustworthy, transparent and accountable counterpart. This is the guarantee which makes this investment more than worthwhile. It is the final and only solution. Time is of the essence, however. On the immediate horizon, the world is contemplating further sanctions against the clerical regime. On this note, I have regularly emphasized in my talks around the world the importance of targeted personalized sanctions against the regime's leadership, rather than the Iranian people. As Iran inches closer to achieving nuclear capability, the private financial fiefdoms of the clerical regime continue to provide economic and material support for terrorist groups, both regionally and beyond. It is their dangerous pocketbooks that must be sanctioned. The imposition of smart sanctions that specifically target the assets of key decision-makers and the means of the Revolutionary Guards to oppress the people can prove effective. The critical goal, therefore, must be to weaken the financial power of the oppressive forces inside Iran. In closing, as with so many fronts in this modern era, in the end, it is all about communications. I encourage investment in technologies that increase communication with the Iranian people. America in particular needs to increase the available mediums of dialogue with the Iranian people by strengthening the ability of the Iranian people to access news and information, and to overcome the electronic censorship and monitoring efforts of the Iranian regime. This renewed dialogue would allow the world to demonstrate its solidarity with the democracy-seeking Iranian people. It would also improve the accuracy of the information received from Iran. But perhaps most importantly, improving these technologies would allow the Green Movement within Iran to communicate, organize, and mobilize much more efficiently. Excerpted comments made by Reza Pahlavi of Iran to a group of prominent American business leaders in New York City.